Today, we're going to be talking all about a few new sparkly products that have come out from Colourpop. Y'all know how much I love capsule collections, and they've come out with 2 capsules, one including 4 multichrome eyeshadow sticks, and the other including Disney Princess sparkly glosses. Of course, I love sparkly and shiny makeup products any time of year, but this time of the year is perfect because it's the holidays. People are looking for a little bit of extra sparkle and glam, and I love seeing if Colourpop is coming out with a high quality, affordable product, especially ones that may be able to dupe higher end, more expensive products. So let's go ahead and get into it. I'm particularly interested to know if these eyeshadow sticks are going to be worth that $12 price point and how they compare to products that have come out in this line before. First, we have the shade Disco Disco. I think this one is going to be a favorite. It's very glowy. It has a baby pink base and it's described as having a blue and violet shift. I personally love shades like these. I don't know if it's a multichrome. To me, this seems like more of a duochrome, but the shift in it is intense and it's so glowy. Let's get these multichromes on the eye. I want to start off with putting a matte in the crease. I want to keep my looks pretty simple because I want the multichromes to be the star of the show. I'm just using one of the mattes from the Beaute Bar Dark Dreamscape palette. I think that palette has a lot of really good tones that will match with these multichromes because we have a lot of the sort of dreamy blue, pink, purple tones. Then I'm just going to put a little bit on the lower lash line. Now we're going to go in with Disco Disco. There's something about these shades that seem like they're going to be even more intense than the first versions. I'm just feeling very hopeful, and then swatching them just makes me think that these are a little bit of a step up even from the previous multichrome shades. And what I really like about this formula is that because they have a sort of precise kind of applicator that they come in, you can use them as eyeliner as well. All right, here is what the shade Disco Disco looks like fully applied. I really love this shade, even if it is more of a duochrome than a multichrome shade. It has a lot of really pretty glow to it. Here's just a little bit closer up so you can really appreciate the sparkle and the glow. All right, next we have the shade Cotton Candy. I think this is going to be another favorite. This is described as having a lavender base with a baby blue and a pink shift. Again, I don't know if this is more of a duochrome than a multichrome, but it's very shifty, and even shades that I've seen like this from indie brands are typically considered multichromes. And for my fellow makeup nerds, this shade actually reminds me quite a bit of Tessara from Clionadh. For my second look, I'm going to dip into this Viseart palette. This is the Paris Nuit Etoile, and in particular this deeper blue tone matte. As I've previously mentioned, the Viseart mattes are definitely some of my favorite. There's a reason why I dip into these palettes, and I think the size of the palettes too is really nice. It's made them a little bit more on the affordable side, and just allows you to be able to get them at a lower price point. Just slowly deepening up that outer corner. I find these mattes to be very buildable, even though this is quite a deep matte. Don't have to worry too much about being heavy-handed with it. Now I'm just going to add a little bit to the lower lash line. All right, let's go in with this shade Cotton Candy. I'm pretty excited about these. These are definitely, I feel like, packing even more of punch than the first set that I tried from Colourpop. Here is what Cotton Candy looks like fully applied. And a moment for the sparkle and shine. Next shade we have is called Game Over, and this is described as having a baby blue base with a gold and a pink shift. And that gold shift is definitely really strong. It actually reminds me of a shade like Hilt from Clionadh, and also shade like Series from Terra Moons. And here it is in another lighting, just so that you can see those shifts a little bit better. Now we're going to dip into Cosmic Beauty's Starlight Society palette, in particular this really deep and beautiful burgundy matte called Tassels, and I'm just going to use that shade to map out a little bit of a halo. I am so happy that this palette is now available individually and that you don't have to get the whole kit. This definitely is one of my favorite color stories that Cosmic Beauty has come out with. I'm just going to add a little bit to the lower lash line. And now we're going to go in with this beautiful shade called Game Over, and just going to add a little bit into the center of the lid. Ooh, this one is the one that's like intensely shifty. Like it looks like it would be light blue based on the outer packaging and the way that the product looks, but then when you apply it, it doesn't look blue at all. And then I'm just going to add a little bit to the lower lash line. And here is the third completed look. A little bit closer so you can see that sparkle and that shine. And the fourth and final shade that I have to swatch is called Galaxy. This is described as having a magenta base with an olive and a golden shift. And this one to me is a little bit extra sparkly compared to the other shades. And the chrome shift on this one is very intense. You can actually see that shift a little bit better in the mirror, so I have that shown here as well. All right, for the fourth and final look, I'm going to go in with Nightmare Realm from the Dark Dreamscape palette. I'm just going to add that into the crease and a little bit in the outer corner. A little bit to the lower lash line. And now we're going to go in with the shade Galaxy. This, if I recall, was also one of the really shifty shades. And very sparkly. Here is what it looks like fully applied. And then I wanted to show you with a mirror just so that you can really appreciate that multichrome shift. Hopefully you can see in the mirror that you get a very strong kind of pink-green shift with this fourth shade. All right, let's get into swatching and trying on these sparkly lip glosses. All four are ultra glossy lips and they are packed with sparkle. And I would say that all four shades do have some pigment, but they're not like fully opaque or even maybe medium opacity. I would say they're a light to medium opacity. This is the Aerial Gloss, and it looks like it would actually be a decent dupe for something like Fenty's Diamond Milk. All right, let's try on these sparkly glosses, starting off with the Aerial shade. This is kind of like an iridescent that has multicolored sparkles. I think this one is definitely going to be a crowd favorite. Just can't ever go wrong with a clear gloss with sparkle. And a sparkle moment. All right, next we have the Rapunzel gloss. This one is probably my favorite, and I have to mention, I think that this is a decent dupe for another Fenty gloss. So if you missed out on Grape Splash, definitely consider checking this one out. Look at that intense blue-purple sparkle. Next, we have Rapunzel. This is basically like a pink gloss that has sort of a purple leaning chrome shift. You do see some other sparkle in here as well, but I personally think that this one is going to be my favorite. Here is what the Rapunzel gloss looks like fully applied. and get you a little bit closer for a sparkle moment. All right, next we have the Tiana gloss, and this one I would describe as a sort of golden leaning champagne, and it has gold and silver sparkles throughout. I do like that you get different color reflex in each of these glosses. I do think that adds something a little bit different, and it does make them distinguishable from one another. Next we have Princess Tiana, and this is basically like a champagne with multicolored sparkles. Here is what it looks like fully applied. And a sparkle moment. Last but not least, we have the Belle shade, and this is a really pretty kind of peachy pink, and it has golden and silver sparkles. Last but not least, we have the Belle gloss, and this is a pink with multicolored sparkles. Here is what it looks like fully applied. A sparkle moment. And of course, for those of you who like seeing overhead swatches of all of the shades together, here is what they look like. All of the labels are from the wrist down. Now that we've had a chance to go through everything, let's close up with some wrap-up thoughts, starting off with the shadow sticks. These are the first multi-chrome shadow sticks that they've done in a little while that I'm aware of. They may have included one or two in previous collections, but having 4 shades at once, this is the most that I've seen in a while. These are definitely creeping up there a little bit in terms of price. They're $12. They are multi-chromes, so you know, I think the price probably does make sense. I personally really like that these can not only be used as eyeshadow all over the lid, but also as eyeliner. I love wearing shades like these in the waterline. Personally, my favorite shades are probably the ones that were more duochrome than multichrome, and that's the Cotton Candy and the Disco. So yes, I am very happy to have these, and I definitely will be reaching for them and using them more. Next are these ultra glossy lips. In my opinion, the ultra glossy lip is definitely one of the best lip product formulas that Colourpop has. I think that these, even though they're quite sparkly, are very comfortable. You may feel the sparkle a little bit, but it's nothing crazy. I don't think that you need all of these shades by any means. Like, they're sheer enough that you probably won't notice enough of a difference to warrant having all of them. Personally, my favorite shade is the Rapunzel shade. I feel like you definitely really notice that blue reflect in this gloss. And then my second favorite shade is probably the one that's the most versatile, and that is the Ariel one that's clear, that has multicolored sparkles. Now that I've had a chance to go through everything, I would love to hear what you think of these 2 releases. In general, I really like the smaller, more capsule releases. Colourpop can do some very big collections that to me can feel a little bit overwhelming, so I always appreciate when the collections are smaller. I also like that they are padding out ranges that are known and loved. And this time of year, sparkly products in general are always appreciated, especially since people are doing more kind of holiday and glam looks. So these are definitely, you know, of my more favorite releases. I also really liked the Super Shock trios that they came out with just a few weeks ago. These 2 products, the Ultra Glossy Lips and the Shadow Sticks, I feel like these are very kind of beloved products for Colourpop. I hope you found this video helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.